Hey you guys, Jean Marie here from Living Simply Nourished. So Christy and I are taking a little break from our live cooking demonstrations. So if we'll get back to that, but we're just trying something a little new. Going to try. Hey Christy.
Hi.
Yeah, so I was just saying that we were taking a break from our live cooking demos. We'll be back to that. And if anyone misses us cooking, to please let us know. We like to have some feedback for what to bring you on Thursday afternoons. But for now, we're going to be answering some questions that we get all the time. And they might be questions that you all have if you're looking to clean up your diet. You don't have to wait till January 1st to do that. You can start right now. The easiest thing, well, maybe not the easiest, but what's the question you get asked most, Christy, about replacements?
Well, it's probably the cheese question,
Oh.
even though we're not talking about cheese today, but it's probably the cheese question that I get most often. How about you?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, yeah, it's definitely the cheese question. And how do you live without it?
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, as a former cheese addict, you can live without it, but there's so many replacements out there now. And actually, one of my daughters was just asking me, the one that we were talking about the other night, do you remember what everyone was saying about the new cheese brand that was out? And they said it tastes just like cheese. I don't even seek that out anymore. I don't look for cheese on my plate anymore, but I mean, it's definitely good to have those transitional brands of different ingredients for that. Do you remember what it was?
I don't remember if it was Miyoko or I'm not sure. Was it Miyoko?
It might have been.
That one's a common one, I think, because they make like the big blocks of cheese and stuff, and those are harder to find, but Miyoko's like a big brand of that. So it might be that, but I make a lot of stuff at home, and it doesn't taste exactly like cheese used to. I think it's been a couple of years now, but I think it's really good replacements, and one of the things that you need to make that is non-dairy milk. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Right.
And I brought some of my milks out.
I have.
Did you bring yours?
I have.
Do you always get unsweetened?
Always. Yeah. Now, when my kids are all home, my family's here, I'll sometimes mix it up with chocolate or, sweetened. We've done taste testing before. I know some of our members have too, and that was fun. That's fun for people to kind of figure out what their favorite is. But yeah, I always go for unsweetened because you can sweeten it if you needed to. And I don't like to have a lot of extra waste on hand. I'm afraid I'm going to throw it out, or I'll have to throw it out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I do stick with silk because it doesn't have that carrageenan ingredient.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have other brands that you like? I definitely find almond and cashew I use interchangeably.
Yeah, I go with silk too. I was gonna say it's non-GMO, but I think most of them are non-GMO now. I don't think I've seen any that didn't have the verification on them. So, but usually, we drink a lot of non-dairy milk because we put it in our oatmeal and sometimes with cereal and stuff like that. And for those things, we like the original. We prefer cashew milk the best, but finding the original cashew milk around here is really hard. So we go with the original almond milk. But for cooking, when I'm making like cheese sauce or whatever, I use unsweetened, and I can find that in cashew milk. And the difference, I think, between the two, I would say, is that the cashew milk is creamier, kind of has a thicker texture, which leads me into the coconut milk. And this one is still like 3/4 full. They didn't have anything else at the grocery store, so I had to get the coconut milk, but we didn't like it. It's really watered down, in my opinion. And it does have a coconut hint to it, and Easton doesn't like coconut, so that one didn't go over well. But so
I think people who don't like coconut, like, they can't go there. It's just even if you think it's a hidden flavor, it's there for people who don't like coconut.
Yeah. So,
but for people who don't mind coconut, I think it's more of a skim milk consistency than cashew or almond.
Yeah, I was just going to say that because when people first, want to change, they say to me, well, which one is going to taste the most like what I'm used to? Because if you go straight from dairy milk to, let's say, almond milk, it's a huge difference. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say that it's so delicious because at first it's a completely different taste. But I think the closest one you're going to find is cashew milk because it is thicker and creamier like dairy milk. But I would also say if you're just switching over to also get the original because dairy milk is sweetened. It's very heavily sweetened because it doesn't taste very good when it comes from the cow. So they do add a lot of sugar to that. So if you're used to having dairy milk, you're going to want to probably get the original, at least to start with. If you want to cut back on sugar later, that's okay. But if you want it to taste more like what you're used to, go with the original.
And I think to take one step further, I was just thinking about like if people want to make their own ice cream, and I've done this a bunch of times, you need something that has a lot of fat in it, then the canned coconut milk is where it's at. And also for like the whipped cream recipe that I posted this week, and I've made that recipe many times. It's delicious. But you use that canned coconut milk for that top real thick part that kind of settles to the top. It's where all the fat is. And
that's what I used for my icing for the chocolate cake. It's chocolate chips and the coconut cream from the milk. So it's versatile in other recipes too because it kind of can act like a butter almost.
And I think if you're in a pinch, or even if you're not, I mean, you could make your own almond milk, or we're always making cashew cream. In a lot of our recipes, it calls for cashews and water to make, and there's nothing like cashews to make something a really rich and creamy dish. But you can do like a cup of raw almonds, not salted, not roasted, but like as plain as you can get. I don't know if I've always used raw, but don't get roasted and salted. And then like 4 cups of water and a pinch of salt. And if you wanted a vanilla, you could add vanilla, or if you wanted it sweetened, you could do that with a couple dates or sugar if you wanted, or agave or whatever, maple syrup, whatever, and just blend it. And then look at this though. I never make anything myself. I'm making stuff all the time, but I just buy the milk because it's just easiest and that's what I choose. But you can get one of these nut milk bags and you just pour what you blend through here, and then you have strained almond milk ready to go. And that lasts for a few days in the fridge.
I was telling you this, I saw Dr. Greger, he came out with his cookbook, and he was doing those videos, like the really quick cooking videos, and I don't remember what recipe he was making, but he took like a tablespoon or 2 of almond butter and then added water, and on the screen it said like almond butter plus water equals almond milk. So I'm kind of curious, like how does that work? Does it taste like it, or does it blend up? I imagine it would blend up pretty well, but I don't know if it's just something to use in recipes or if you could do that if you wanted a cup of milk or whatever.
We're gonna have to try it.
Yeah.
Speaking of almond butter, this is a little reveal for our Vegging Out members, or anyone who wants to try the meal plans. But next week we have a pimento cheese sandwich, which so this relates to the cheese and the dairy and the almond butter, which is a critical ingredient, which sounds weird, but I'm telling you, it is so good. It's so good. It's right behind me. I was eating it just with a spoon. So good. I just
sounds good.
You'll guys do that next week. So do you want to post that that Dr. Greger's video maybe down below? We can all give it a try, and if somebody tries it and they want to let us know.
Yeah, I'll try to find it. I was going to say too. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say I don't normally buy almond butter really, but now that I have a jar, I can just try whatever we need to with it.
Yeah. I was going to say if anyone is interested in the workshop, we're going to be using some of these milks to make some cheese sauces. And so you'll get to experiment with those if you're interested in trying that out and trying some new plant-based foods. We're going to show you how to cook those things and how to use these things. And it's just going to be ordinary ingredients. I think in the dinner we're going to have some tofu to try, but overall it's going to be like everyday ingredients that you can pick up, no problems finding it at the grocery store. I'm going to show you how to make meals that your whole family will like with all of those things.
Okay, awesome. Well, I hope everyone has a great night. Christy, have a good night.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye everyone.